If you were creative when you were a kid, but you're not anymore, then this video is for you. By the end of this video, I hope to show you the 4 benefits I experienced after started creating like a kid again, and how you could do the same. Welcome, guys. Welcome to my little studio here, my little setup, which you'll recognize from the last one. So what I wanted to talk about was, if you used to create when you were a little kid, but you don't anymore, you've essentially given up one of the biggest creative outlets you had. And if you're anything like me, it kind of affects you because you used to have this outlet where you can kind of express yourself, and now you don't anymore. And you're seeking that out if you're not doing it. So whether it was drawing or recording videos or arts and crafts, again, having that outlet was something that was important to you as a kid. And now as you're older and you stop, it leaves a void. It's kind of as dramatic as it sounds. And it's probably one of the main reasons why certain things lose their spark that you used to enjoy when you were a kid. At least that's how I felt, right? Before I started getting into creating content. So I used to be pretty creative as a young kid. I used to draw a lot. I used to like comic books, and I would find the panels that I would like and then draw them out. I would also go and find screenshots of video games that I liked and try to recreate those. I wanted to be an artist when I was a kid, but as I got older, I stopped drawing and I stopped participating or having any creative endeavors. I would kind of, dabble in them a little bit, but they left the void. And it wasn't until recently that I started creating content and that spark came back. And I think it's something that we have to talk about, as at least for creative individuals, if you stop doing it, and how necessary I think it is to get back into that. So now, after a few months of creating content, I've found a few benefits. So I enjoy content, whether it's movies or TV shows, more than I did before. I stopped consuming as much because now I'm kind of busier creating, or I'm having all these ideas. It helped me gain new skills that I didn't think I would ever pick up, and then it opened up the possibility of monetization, monetizing my skills in the future. So let's go break those down. So enjoying content more than I did before. So whether it's movies, either normal, typical movies, or anime shows or TV shows, I'm finding myself interested in like videography more, and the cinematography. So like frame composition or scene composition, lighting, stuff like that, because I started picking that up from when I was recording videos. So I had to learn about it and try to improve on it. So then now when I'm watching movies, I'll start looking at, this is how they implemented the rule of thirds. And I can kind of appreciate the medium now more because I create a little bit. And I'm able to spot trends and patterns that I wasn't before. And it's such a nice thing because it gives shows or movies that you used to watch a new life. Now, I stopped consuming, but on the same note, I stopped consuming as much because now I'm creating. So now whenever I do consume, and I kind of, I use a lot of it as inspiration. So I'll watch something and I'm like, I like that frame. So I might screenshot it and try to replicate it on one of my videos. Or if I see a sequence where the music and the video were really well organized or structured, and I'll go ahead and do that. Same thing with writing. When I see well-written pieces of content, I'm thinking, wow, that's a really interesting way of how they brought up the pain point and the solution and the hook and all that type of stuff and the storytelling. So content in itself, again, while I'm enjoying it more, but I'm still consuming it less, I'm able to extract more value out of it because I'm using it. Gaining new skills. For the gaining new skills, for example, now after writing, filming videos, and then on the same note, editing those videos, I've been picking up a lot of well, skills, right? So whether it's using DaVinci Resolve, trying to learn how to use my camera on my phone in terms of all the different settings for the exposure, the ISO, the white balance, all that type of stuff. Trying to get that dialed in, the color grading, storytelling, right? Trying to organize these videos and my writing in a way that makes sense. And I can tell that creating pieces of content is having these really cool effects, if you want to call them that, or secondary effects, where I'm learning more, I'm improving more, and it's not something I was expecting. And the last one was the open up the possibility of monetizing my skills in the future. Now, currently, the only thing that applies to that right now is my X account and my YouTube account. Obviously, after you reach a certain point, you're eligible to get monetized. And I think that's a pretty cool thing, right? Because before, when you're consuming content and you're not creating the stuff, you're kind of just, on that cycle of just consuming, clicking, liking, whatever. But now, as I'm creating stuff and I get feedback and I get more out of it, whether it's through the skills that I'm learning or just the posts or the content itself, just the thought that eventually I can make a couple dollars off the page is kind of cool, right? It's motivating. And it's something that I think, again, as a creative person, although the act of hitting metrics isn't creative, the fact that it's a problem you have to solve now is a driver in and of itself when you're making content. So now not only are you creating content, but it's like a game where you're like, okay, well, how can I say what I want in the best way possible to help the most people possible, and ideally also make a couple dollars off of it. And it brings new life into things, right? And it's something that I've appreciated now after making content. Another bonus one is I've been able to connect with some great like-minded people because of it, whether it's through the DMs or having conversations. It kind of lets you know there's a network of people out there that are kind of like you and are like you in the way that they're looking to build something more for themselves. And it's extremely refreshing, and it's motivating, because when you might need something, you have a network of people that could help you out. And that's one of those other like byproducts of being in this side of things where that's been beneficial. Apart from these benefits, I want to kind of walk you through how I started this in hopes that you'll do the same thing and see how the steps I took, which was essentially just small projects. That's kind of how it started. So my first small project was just writing. So I started writing for myself, whether it was just documenting my days or my problems, how I've mentioned before in some of my other videos. So I just started kind of getting down into writing. That turned into writing on X, because you have to start writing, or at least for me, it was writing in private, then writing in public. I started writing in public and then sharing my thoughts, got some feedback, and that went from short posts to longer posts. Once I got those out of the way and I kind of had that fear of posting gone, or at least taken care of, that turned into a newsletter, which was the Repair Log. The Repair Log newsletter is just a way where I share my tools, stories, any problem I faced, and I share them with people. So in hopes of them not having to repeat them, or at least to help them overcome whatever problem they have going on. And I share other like resources that I've either found or I've made myself. So small projects, right? So small project was me writing, then the X page, then the newsletter. Then within that, I decided, you know what, I kind of want to get into video. So the next small project was this series I made on X called Press Start, in which I essentially just documented. It was kind of weird. It was me documenting me creating videos, or overcoming the fear of making videos on X. So I did that for, I think it was 4 weeks. I made those videos because I was, terrified of posting stuff on there, at least videos. Once I got I got that out of the way and realized nothing exploded. My life wasn't threatened. I said, okay. And I sat on that. I made a little bit. I don't think I made any more, but I knew, okay, I can do this. So eventually I kept going on X, posting in my newsletter. And then somewhere along the lines, it clicked. I'm like, I need to make a YouTube channel. So I made a YouTube channel and I made a few videos for, I think it was in a month period, I made 2 of them. And something about that process was so enticing and it's so much fun. And that's where I started picking up those skills like videography, cinematography. I started realizing, wow, this is actually really interesting. And I want to get better at this. So that became my other small project, working on the YouTube video. And kept that going, it's going now, right? I had a huge gap in between my second video and then the ones I'm making now. But still, it was one of those things where I'm like, okay, I want to get back into doing this. So you see how these small steps kind of start snowballing, right, into bigger projects. And then now, as of recently, I just made within a YouTube video, I had another small project, which was a little gaming video where I'm kind of doing really short videos of this little racing game I'm playing. And just to kind of get a different spin on editing videos that may or may not have my voice in them, but getting like effects down. So I'm using that as a medium to own my skills and just kind of get the reps in of kind of making sure I'm continuing to use these video editing tools and just producing stuff to show people that your creative journey doesn't have to be, or can be varied, right? You don't have to hone in on one thing, but it's so rewarding to do so and explore and just put stuff out there and just kind of create stuff and see what works, what doesn't, what people like, what helps people. And it's been so much fun, man. Like embracing this side again that I wasn't tapping into like I was when I was a kid. And I think you should do so. If this was something you did when you were a kid, get back into it because it's what you've been missing, And I know you understand what I'm saying. It's for example, just with the videography alone, it makes even just traveling so much more fun because now I'm thinking, oh, it'd be kind of cool to make a little post on this or make a little video. And not everything has to be posted or public, but you can make little projects for yourself where you can document your life and let that inner storyteller and have it as a way to flex your creative muscle and just make moments special more than they already are, right? And it's just a different way of looking at things. At least that's how it works out for me personally. Oh, and I almost forgot one of the other things I was also able to kind of get out of the way due to these small projects was a digital product. I made a Notion template that I was using for myself for like my newsletters where I would take an idea and kind of break it down into this template. And then from there, I would repurpose it into either a newsletter, long form, or into a video or just short posts. Then it has, it's on the Notion Kanban board, so you can kind of work it through like the process where it's like you started it, you're working on it, you finish it, you publish it. Then I was like, let me throw this on Gumroad. So I threw it up on Gumroad. It's free. I was just curious if people would download it, and a few people did. Let me a review or not, or I think I have 1 5-star review. But it was funny because had I not started just doing stuff, I probably would still be thinking about making a digital product and planning stuff out. But those small steps led to, from me writing on my notebook and taking notes and reflecting, we ended up at YouTube video, newsletter, X, and digital product made. That's insane to me. Because had I not started with just writing, I would probably still be in, beginner hell thinking about stuff. So again, if you're a creative person, get out of your head and I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but just start small, because these small projects will help you out. You'll learn a lot, and you'll get these benefits like I told you earlier, right? Like, for example, the enjoying content more than before, consuming less of it, but enjoying it to a point where it's more quality, right? Quality versus quantity. Um, Gaining those new skills that you didn't think you'd pick up before, and then the possibility of just monetizing this stuff in the future. Like, even if you don't, I think if you're creative, the process in and of itself is so rewarding that you'll probably do it for free. At least I know I enjoy this enough to I don't really mind. I like the possibilities of monetization, but I enjoy the process so much in the community and talking to people that I'll keep doing it. So I urge you, if you're waiting for that something and this sounds like you, this is what you need to do. Go start some small creative endeavor, maybe in private at first, eventually work your way up to public, and then share your stuff with others, man. You're gonna understand what I'm saying at a deeper level, and it'll work out. And I think you'll enjoy it. Thank you. Actually, before I forget, I never do this in the videos, but if you enjoyed this content, subscribe, comment if you need any help or any type of feedback you got, and subscribe to my newsletter. The links are going to be in the description. And then check out that planner or my content tracker on Gumroad. If you're having issues with brainstorming and scheduling, I think this can help you. That's how I do my stuff anyway. If you want a video on that, let me know. Although my first video has a portion on it that all it takes is focus, and it kind of walks you through how to use it. So you can check that one out in my playlist. So thanks if you stuck out this far, I appreciate you. And I'll see you later. Thanks.